Airskillz Podcast.
What's up, family? It's your boy Malcolm Airbrush Assassin McCray, and you are tuned in to Airskillz Podcast. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for joining us. I got my co-host.
Lord Rudy, baby, what's
There
going
you go.
on?
I see you over there jamming. Folks. You
Folks,
doing a two-step?
That was with the intro, man. That beat just make you want to have jazz hands, man. What's going on, baby?
How you doing this morning, bro?
Man, I'm cooling, man. Ready to tackle the day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's your week been?
It's been one, man. Can't lie to you, but I'm still here.
Yes, sir.
Still able to make it happen. Still able to do what I'm supposed to do, and still able to grow through it, bro. So.
Yes, sir. Yes,
How
sir.
was yours?
I'm excited about today, man.
Man, me too, man.
I use these as like a therapy session.
Man, listen. I was gonna tell you, I had one yesterday. It was amazing. When you come back to the crib, you gotta go to Calm.
I definitely will.
Man. Patrice doing her thing, man. They gave me a 2-hour session yesterday. They gave me a Reiki session too.
Shout out to Patrice, man. What's the name of her company?
Calm Wellness.
Services,
because it's multiple. It ain't just massages, it's Reiki, it's mental health, it's therapy, it's everything, bro.
Man, we gotta take care of ourselves, man.
I thought I did yesterday, but I need some more. I'm not doing good, bro.
Yeah, man. You know, as you get older, things get to moving, things get to changing. You know what I'm saying? So we got to spend a lot more time on self-care, self-love, mental health, all of that good stuff.
She told me something dope yesterday that I think we all need to probably take and start using. She said it like sometimes you got to pick your problems, put others to the side. Sometimes you got to put it all to the side and just be there. So I was like,
how would you reflect that? What does that mean?
Man, just take time not to stress and worry. And actually just be in the moment. Take time to be okay. She kept telling me to like close my eyes, take deep breaths, and find a way to be in a room with nothing in it. Me just sit on the floor with a candle.
Right.
And peace. Yeah, and when I felt like I was able to add another candle.
Right.
And then add another candle, basically bringing light to the room.
I say on that one.
Blew my mind, G. But it was hard for me to do though.
Because just your mind racing and just different thoughts and
it's all this technology around us to constantly keep our minds buffering.
Right.
Keep our minds scrolling, keep our minds going up and down nonstop. So to take a chance and just actually step aside from everything and just be in solitude helps you, you know what I'm saying, go through things a little smoother. And then you get to pick and choose which problems you want to face or which opportunities you want to fix first, second, and third. You put them in perspective. And that was big for me because, you know, we deal with a lot on a regular basis, folks.
Exactly.
Husbands, fathers, uncles, cousins, entrepreneurs, everything.
Right.
It's rough.
Yeah.
And it's fun at the same time because we, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes the creativity is the flow we need to get those juices going and get that frustration out. So
definitely, man. You gotta keep finding ways to. Today's topic is courage. You got to keep finding ways to have courage to go against the odds and stay positive. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of courage to stay positive, especially, you know, with a lot of the different things that's going on around in the world. It's so important that we focus in on having the courage to be able to stay positive. Making sure we align ourselves up with positive people as well. I had a great chat yesterday with one of my mentors, Achika Akua. And, just checking in, we need to do that more, just checking in on each other, asking each other, like, how we doing, what's going on. I know as an artist, I kind of feel that most artists are highly competitive. So we don't find it cool to collaborate. I don't know why is that, you know what I'm saying? So we find ourselves in very lonely places because we've kind of like shut ourselves down due to the fact of whatever little problems, issues, or just the competitive kind of like spirit. So, you know, it takes a lot of energy and courage to, you know, put those things aside and be able to call up on somebody, check in with somebody, spend some downtime, making sure you straight, making sure that your body is straight, making sure that you know, you mentally there, and asking yourself truly how you doing, because a lot of the times we ain't giving ourselves, we're not being honest with ourselves or others. So again, we're talking about courage, having the courage to be honest with yourself, having the courage to be honest with other people, having the courage to, you know, do your own thing, man. I was doing an incredible reflection in the morning time. I'm an early riser, so I do a lot of my morning reflection time of just, man, I remember 20 years ago as a young man trying to figure out how I was going to get to this point at 40 some years in my life. I did not know. I remember like not knowing how I was going to end up, and still pushing on through to have the courage against all odds, to be able to make that work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man,
so, you know, also, you know, this special guest that we got, this brother right here has been somebody that I've been watching for a very long time. Every time I do anything in Atlanta, this brother is there, you know, showing me some love. I don't care if it's 2 people in the room or 200 people in the room. This brother is always there showing some love. He has a very unique perspective of as an artist. He's doing some things that I've never really seen other artists really do or talk about, in that kind of like field. So when we talking about courage, I want you guys to kind of remember, as we talk to this guest, his story, how, you know, you got to have courage to go against the odds, and everybody ain't gonna do the same thing. So you got to create your own path, and this brother has definitely created his own path. So I want to go ahead and spend some time real quick talking to a good friend of mine, Craig Stanley. You know what I'm saying? Come on in, Craig. Craig, you there, man?
There you go. There you go.
Hey, how y'all doing this morning?
Man, how you doing?
You doing, man?
I'm doing great. Loving the positive energy that you brothers have, so I'm feeling good.
Right on, Craig. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Tell us a little bit about, for the people who don't know who you are, tell them who you are, man.
Okay, well, my name is Craig Stanley. I'm resident here in Atlanta. I've been here since probably 98. And as you mentioned, my career is a little bit different. So I had to go back to kind of describe how I got to where I am now. But I'm going to say when I was 15, I learned how to airbrush. I taught myself how to airbrush, which is something that you have a love for as well. And that kind of spawned so many other aspects of my life, because the airbrush, as you know, is very easy for it to be a commercialized tool. So that a lot of the airbrush works, most people equate to, that's value in it. So people are ready to spend the money on it. So as a 15-year-old, I was able to start my business and start to get used to having a business mind and set up relationships with individuals, whether it's an individual person or companies. But I had an early start doing that. And then once I moved here to Atlanta, I moved here to go to a training school for 2 years for graphic design and illustration. But once I moved here, there was a company that I felt vibed with what I was already doing, which was they were airbrushing backdrops. But the backdrops that they were airbrushing were for film, for a lot of, commercials. And if you remember back in the day, before all the LED screens at concerts for the backdrop of the artist, well, you had a backdrop, a literal, painted, material canvas or what have you, backdrop. And so this is what they were doing. So I fell right into place and I started doing all of those. But that was my introduction to the film industry and entertainment industry.
So where are you originally from?
Kansas City.
Okay.
Oh, Kansas City. Right on, man. And then you came down to Atlanta. What would you say? What year was that roughly?
That was 98.
Okay. So before airbrushing, was you always into art?
Always. I started probably when I was 7.
Wow.
Yeah. When
And
I
your
was 7.
parents and your family, they supported you as an artist and kind of supported you?
Oh, 100%. 100%. My mom and dad, both of them were integral parts of the support. But I would have to say my dad, and they would both agree to this, my dad, he took a real interest in making sure that I had the tools that I needed in every aspect of my art career, from just make sure I had the right pencils, make sure I had the right paper. And then once I started airbrushing, he bought me my first airbrush. I bought most after that, but he was the one that made sure that when he saw I had an interest in something in a certain direction, even though he couldn't draw, he wanted to make sure he nurtured that or found someone around that was able to give me a little bit more knowledge than he had.
Dope. Let's give it up for dads, man. Dads are my pops is the same way, and it's important to be able to and then Rudy is dealing with, he just lost his father. So,
Right.
today he's going to be, going to the funeral and all of that. So fathers make a big difference. My dad too. My mom, she enjoyed and supported me, but my dad invested in me. You know what I'm saying? So, it's so important. So, are you the older? How many brothers, sisters? Tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay. Well, I have let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sisters, and then a
Okay.
brother.
Right
How
on.
you go?
Right
Where you
on.
lying at?
Say again.
I said, where do you lying at? You the middle child? You the youngest?
I am dead middle. I'm
Oh
dead
wow,
middle.
that's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's dope. Did they nurture your gifts as well, or did they try to take your supplies?
No, not at all. All of my family is extremely supportive.
That's dope.
They'll travel to where I am. If they're out of state, sometimes for certain big events or no matter what, they always give me the love. Always been there. So it's never been anything competitive or anything like that. Within our family unit, we always support anyone, any of us, whatever endeavors that we're working on. Always give them the fullest shine. So it's a great family connection.
So as an entrepreneur, how do you intersect between the world of film production and what challenges have you faced navigating?
Okay, so in film, it's a unique dance that you have because you have a artwork that's given to you, not artwork necessarily, but there's a direction that they want your artwork to go. So they may have something that they have rendered and they say, can you do something similar to this? So so it's not a complete freedom, but you have a direction, you have a funnel that you want to go.
Yeah.
That's business, right?
Right.
If someone's paying for something, they have a direction that they want you to go. So, and in film, depending upon what the project is, most likely I'm going to use acrylic paints. I'm going to use latex paints, depending upon, and then also just the speed of it or the size of it.
So, like, let me ask you, those paintings that I might see in a movie, that might be like on the wall or something to that effect. Do you do those as well?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
So give us a rundown of some of the movies, some of the production that you've been a part of.
Oh goodness. Okay. I can go to some of my older ones that you may have seen. So if you've seen the Jackie Robinson movie 42,
yeah,
that was one of my absolute favorites just because of the historical impact of that one, and got a chance to
the historical aspect twice, because the actor, you know what I'm saying, that's history for him as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Chadwick, that was an amazing experience, to be able to work with him as well as all the other actors on that film. And yeah, it was a beautiful film. So that was one, my all-time favorites, but you have others like Hunger Games, pretty much everything that Tyler Perry's done between the years of 2012 to 2018. Those are my primary years there. Even though I still work with them here and there, but during those years, everything that was done. And then countless commercials. Now I mostly work in a lot of commercials, but I would say as far as feature films, I believe I have maybe about 12 to 15 feature films and 100 and some plus episodes of episodic television.
Wow. Yeah, man. I was telling you, man, I've been to your website, man, and I've been stalking your website for the last couple of days, man. And I just went to just your your what do they call it? Your film resume.
Yes.
And man, it's very inspiring, man, just to be able to see how many different, not only film, but just how you've taken your art form and has added it to so many different layers. Also, you do illustration work, and you did some work for like a children's book, correct?
Yes. I have 2 children's books I've been able to help illustrate. One for a wonderful young lady that she has Maria Hoskins. She has a line of actually black stories, children's books that she's done. And most recently on a work now, it's not even out yet. Right now, we're still working on the color roughs, but we're almost there, for that to be released. But that one's with the publishing company, Simon & Schuster. I'm not sure if you but yeah, so Simon & Schuster, they contacted me and they said that they love my work, that they found me on, I think the author, she was able to find me on Instagram. Wow. Yeah, just funny thing about that is that I kind of fell out of in love with Instagram for a while in the past. And so that particular year, I think I posted maybe 3 or so illustrations. It wasn't many at all for the whole year. And but I was tagging at the time, I was tagging black stories, black children's illustrations, black children's books. And so I was trying to see if I can get some movement in that direction, but that was it. I didn't care. It's about 3 times that year. And they were the illustrations from that previous children's book that I was just mentioning that I did for Maria. And with those, that's how the author had found me. And then it was the editor. She had called me and said, well, want to know if you'd be interested in illustrating a new children's book that we have out by this author. So that's what's been in the works. And so it'll be released this year, called Our Joyful Noise.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
So now I was wanting just to kind of talk a little bit more about some of the challenges that you've probably had to overcome, specifically, being an artist of color. Is this something where you see a lot of artists of color in this field? And how has, your career kind of changed? One of the things that I noted with you as well, you're always trying to bring other artists into this field by sharing. I know, Airbrush Black and some other artists I know you've brought into this field. So can you tell us a little bit about some of your ups and downs, and then also, being a minority in this field? Is it a lot of people of color doing this kind of work?
I will say, in my experience, and I've been in it, for 20 some years, I haven't seen it a lot. I know that it's an industry that it is very much so who you know. And so people start to pull in, those that they know, family members or friends and so forth. In this area, you may have definitely more people of color as an opportunity just because where we are. But if you're in LA and places like that, you just don't see it. So it was interesting that when I went to and started working with Tyler Perry, I was told by others around that you're not going to see this many black people in any of the other studios. And I didn't understand why, because I'm thinking, okay, this is Atlanta. There's plenty of black people, but he was not lying. Even in the black mecca of Atlanta, there's still not a lot of people that do what I do. My actual skill, or my title in film, is called a scenic artist. So there's not a lot of black scenic artists whatsoever here. Whatsoever. So if they're not here, you can really imagine they're not in the rest of the US. So, but I mean, the industry is filled with a lot of beautiful people of all different, ethnicities, but you don't see a lot of us. So at Tyler Perry's, you were able to see more just in overall of us everywhere in all different aspects of the film industry. So that's really refreshing. But here and there, I've been able to see one or two that just around, but really I'm one of the only ones that I know of.
Has any actors or artists hit you up after you've done a painting on the setting and on a set and been like, yo, can you do some stuff in my house?
Yeah, I've had that. I have had that. Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Do you run into the issue of, I DJ sometimes, and
Okay.
do you run into the issue of someone just coming to you like, hey, I want to paint, and that you try to go through the rundown of like what type of painting they want, and immediately they just go to, well, you the artist, you just do your thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. No. We're not chasing that rabbit. No, we're not doing that. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, not at all. Experience has taught me that you can't pull out of someone's mind what it is that they truly want if they don't give you a direction.
Right.
They absolutely have to. So I implore all artists that if you're working for others, that get some direction from them as far as the direction that they want to go. And before you start to draw anything or paint anything, if that's what you're going to be doing, make sure you do the slightest little vision as far as what that's going to be. If they give you something and say paint this, and they give you the actual picture, great. You don't have nothing else to consider other than, do you believe I can paint this? Perfect. Okay, now there's an exchange in finances and an arrangement for that. If it was just, oh, come up with something cool, no, sir.
Yeah. I'm the same way, man. I literally appreciate my clients because I make them work a little bit before we even talk about numbers, and before we go into the dream world, as I call it. Let's make sure you clear on what you want. And I have a form on my website that I created, and it's just a form of clarity that they have a responsibility to give me the tools that I need so I can do the best job that I can possibly do. So I totally understand what you're saying, Craig, and that's something as well as like any other artists that are paying attention is like, you don't try to jump in so fast. Like you ain't got to take everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to be more systematic and focused in on the right jobs rather than just taking every job. Would you not agree?
Oh, absolutely. Every job is not going to be your friend, and your career is going to be long enough. Don't worry about it. If you need to pass on a certain individual that's going to bring you heartache and trouble and stress, there's no reason for it whatsoever. So make sure that it's just as important for you to choose your client as it is for them to choose you. It is okay to decline if you get a bad vibe about someone as far as how they're dealing and communicating, because it's very much so a communication relationship. And if they're not communicating and they're expecting the world from you, it may not be in your best interest to go down that pathway.
Yeah, I adopted some of Malcolm's habits, especially once I got into t-shirts. I used to do like 4 or 5 different edits for people. Malcolm told me, nope, they get 3. After that 3, either you make the decision not to work with them,
right,
or you make the decision to move forward. But you can't keep it's not wasting time, but you have to value your time more than you value the currency. And if it's taken away from the time that you could be doing more stuff, then you might need to just let that customer go. So
right.
Oh,
And then circling back, to like what today's topic is courage. So, it takes a lot of courage also to tell a client no.
Yeah, man.
It takes a lot of courage to be like, man, either we ain't on the same rhythm and we need to either slow down or go into a different direction, or I don't feel like that this is a project for me. That right there is it takes courage to be able to know your own value and to be able to tell people no.
Right.
It takes courage and it takes practice. I've had a lot of practice. I got good at it.
Have you ever been on a scene or a set and you painted something and you thought it was amazing, but the cast or the staff came back like saying that you had to redo it multiple times?
Not multiple times. There have been things that I'm gonna say I've been fortunate that I've had really good responses from most of the people. There may be a certain change that has nothing to do really with what I did artistically, but just that they changed their whole vision.
Oh,
and then before they brought you let's say they brought you a zebra to paint, and then they said, "Oh, I really like that, but now we're going to go with a kangaroo." It has nothing to do with what you render. It's just that their whole vision, for whatever reason, has completely adjusted. And so in film, what you have to get used to is not being so emotionally attached to anything, because at any moment it can change and change very rapidly. So you learn to paint fast, and you learn not to have feelings in any part of the game.
So I wanted to kind of switch a little bit and talk about impact and like legacy. Most as artists and creative individuals, you know, a lot of the times we don't get our props until we gone and transitioned over. So do you think about your legacy, and are you looking forward? Like, how does your legacy and your artistic endeavors kind of play a role in the way that you process and do things?
I love to help people. And I love to be there for people. And Malcolm, you know, that's the reason why I show up to your shows, because I've always seen the light that you give to others, starting from way back when you were doing the Neem. You know, and all the airbrush artists. And I said, this guy right here, he is really trying to help people and put a platform together so other artists could unite. And so I found a lot of other great artists on there, including, of course, ultimately yourself. So we've had a relationship over the years, but I love to be able to help bring other people on. And so if anything, I would say, I hope that my legacy would be that when people thought about me, they would say, wow, he really helped me in some sort of way. If it's creative, absolutely great. But even if it's beyond creative and I was able to pass on some sort of knowledge that helped them to make wiser decisions, then that's even better. Because a lot of people, they have knowledge of whatever, however you view that knowledge. A lot of people have knowledge, you know, reading dictionaries and encyclopedias, but knowledge is nothing if you don't have the wisdom behind how to use it accurately to benefit yourself and benefit others. So that's my goal, and my hope is that I can pass something on to everyone that I'm able to interact with and leave them something so that they can learn a lesson from something that maybe I did that was an error that I was able to rectify later, or at least understand how to do it differently the next go round.
Wow. What advice would you give to an inspiring artist, particularly like an entrepreneur who's interested in getting into your world? And what have you learned along the way artistically on the journey that you wish you had known earlier?
Let's see. Loaded question. No, I'm playing. No, the number one thing I don't think that artists are taught enough would be about business. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be able to watch parents have a business. Since I was youngest, they had a business, and it wasn't in the art world, but still it was, I can do a service for you, therefore you value that and you're willing to pay me money for that service. I understood that from infancy. But so many artists, they come up in the mindset that is not that. They hear the moniker the whole time, which is, you know, starving artists. So that is absolutely does not have to be true. You know, doesn't have to be true. So learn the business aspect of how to equate the value of your time. I don't care what part of your journey you're in, if you're just starting or if you're, you know, 40, 50 years in, learn that your art and your talent has value. People are willing to pay money for it. Learn what that scale is, and then make sure that you charge adequately for your artwork and your time, because that's what it is. It's your time.
I can't wait to get one of them Tyler Perry checks like you, man. I'm gonna have to come down there. Hey, when I was down there in the A, I did an art show, man, and you kind of mentioned something like, bro, if you ever down here and you be down here for a little bit of time, I can definitely connect you in. I was very tempted to move to Atlanta, man.
You got me tempted.
You're doing the right thing where you are. You know, the film industry and those with cameras, they're going to come to you. So don't worry about trying to go in there. They'll come to you. When you just do good work, all artists, that's what I push for you to do. Do really good work and people will seek you out. The same way that I was able to get the contract with Simon & Schuster, just those 3 posts. I didn't do 1,000 posts. I wasn't posting every day. I just did what someone else deemed to be good work. Now, was it my best work? No, because as artists, we're always going to be pursuing to do something better, right? We all know what we started like, and we all know where we are, but we all also know where we want to be at. But we can't wait until when we get to where we want to be at, we'll be old and we'll be broke.
Right.
We need to figure out how to equate again the financial part earlier on, and people will pay you the entire way because guess what? You're doing something that they are not able to do, and they're willing to pay money for it.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So tell us a little bit. You got any future endeavors, any projects you're working on, and then also let the people know where they can find you at and all that good stuff.
Okay, sure. So I just finished up a couple of commercials, but now I'm working on a new book. I'm kind of getting into the writing aspect of it, along with the one to help others out. As we just mentioned, I just finished a PDF that's on my website now, and it's called 20 Ways to Overcome Creative Blocks. And I just wanted to share just different tips that it's not a long read. It's a very simple read, but those 20 things I know that all of us as artists, we've gone through it, can't seem to unclog the brain and the creative flow. And the book that I'm writing now is called Unblocked, a creative guide to help art. Unblocked, a guide to help uninspired creatives. So that is, and again, to help artists of all different disciplines that I wanted to appeal to, not just, of course, the airbrush artists or the scenic artists or whatnot, but something that all of us can go through. And it's really a journal of questions and questions that can help us to figure out maybe what's our environment when we're least creative, but also what's the environment when we do feel creative, and so many other different aspects to be able to self-analyze and set ourselves up for success. And also along with those other tips and tricks that I mentioned from the PDF, those are all woven in there for you to be able to find those sparks again in wherever you are in your life.
Beautiful. And what's your website? Where can people go?
Website is C Stanley Art, which is the letter C, and then Stanley, STANLEY, art.com.
Wow.
And that's the website. But then if you're on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, it's the same. C Stanley Art. You can always find me.
Just any advice you want to give? We're talking about courage. Before you head on out, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're a very busy man, so thank you again for joining us. But courage is anything you want to talk about when we think about courage and what the courage has to do with your career and different things as well. So
courage, I would say, number one thing I want to leave to all the artists is to never compare yourself to anyone else. Your journey is your special journey. Yours is special as the fingerprints that you have. God gave us all individual fingerprints just as a way to let us know that we are special and unique and cannot be compared to anyone else. So when you're on your social media platforms and you're seeing other people that you enjoy their work, a lot of us, if not all of us, go through a comparison scenario, but we have to stop it. We have to put our limits on what we may admire from others, but never let it take away our emotional shine from the things that we're going through. We are unique and we got our own journey. So get that.
Well, Craig, thank you for your time, man. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for all the work that you're doing, and thank you for just being positive. Thank you for your continuous support. On me. I mean, this was kind of like something I had somebody else I was supposed to come on today, and they kind of canceled at the last minute. And the spirit told me, man, you need to holler at Craig, man. What's going on with Craig? So, I hit you up and you was on it. So thank you again for your time. Thank you for your energy and your words, man.
Yeah, man. I'm honored to meet you as well, sir.
You as well, both of you. No, it's all I'm honored for both of you to invite me, to your platform, and of course to meet you, Lord Rudy. Finally, I heard good things about you as well, and I can't wait to see more of your artwork. And Malcolm, next time you in this city, we got to get together.
Always. All right, Craig. See you later, brother. Thank you for your time.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right, man. Some for us today?
Man, yeah, I do got something for us, man. I'm still amped up on, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I feel like I just talked to Tyler Perry. How about that? Straight up.
And he the closest I ever met anybody that even, was in that circle. You know what I'm saying? So I'm honored to even know. I'm gonna get his autograph. I'm definitely gonna get his book, man. So yeah, man, we talking about courage. Yeah, man. So we talking about courage. I got a little something for us, man.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, baby.
All right.
Airbrush Assassin McCray, and we're back again with the art of success, guys. The art of success, the blueprint, 10 steps to transform your life. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about courage, this incredible tool of courage. When I think about courage, I'm thinking about having the guts, having the commitment, having to be able to push against all odds, push against the pain of success. So, to have courage is a continuous thing that I work on daily, because I realize I have goals, I have dreams, I have ambitions, and I know it's going to be a lot of times when I'm going to have to go against the odds and push towards different obstacles. So inside my quest, I always start off my day with making sure that I have the courage to keep pushing on, courage to make the decisions, courage to be able to live a righteous life, courage to be able to go push that extra mile, because it's easy to be negative. It's easy to just give up. It's easy to be lazy. It's easy to just sleep another couple hours, right? But it takes courage to get up in the morning. It takes courage to fight for your dreams. It takes courage to be able to push through these obstacles on a daily routine. So every day, I work on making sure that I have courage to be able to work hard towards my dreams and towards success. Hey guys, courage is one of those things that I'm always engaging and focusing in on trying to instill in a lot of my students, a lot of my coaching members that I work with. I'm always telling them to have the courage to fight for your dreams. You have to fight for your dreams and fight for success. This is something that's not given to you. And when I think about courage, I think about different things in my life, different journeys that I've been through, where I had to dig deep within inside myself and have the courage to succeed. One of the things that I will always do is I travel a lot. And this traveling thing has been something that has been a part of my journey for a long time. I remember when I was a kid, my father used to take me out on the road and go to different art events and different festivals and sell wares and sell artwork and different things. My dad is a screen print artist, so I remember going to different events and having vending booths. And one of the things that made a great vendor, a great business person, is having the courage to be able to just show up. We're talking about events where it might be 100,000 people, and you will have to have the courage to be able to get there in the morning and set your booth up, not knowing if you're going to make money or not. As I became older, I started having my own business, and one of the things that I would do is travel and sell my art at different events. And I remember at a young age, I had to kind of start grooming myself to have the courage to just show up. I mean, one of the events that I used to do every year was the Kentucky Derby. And I remember packing up my little vehicle. I was roughly around 18 years old, just got my license. I ain't gonna even lie, sometimes I didn't even have my license. I would just pack up a vehicle, any vehicle that I could get my hands on, and travel every year to Louisville, Kentucky. I had a mentor of mine that was in the music industry, and he would come into my shop and he said, man, you need to be on the road. You need to start touring, and you start going to certain events and setting up. And I said, man, events like what? He said, go online. He gave me to this website, and he said, start looking at some different summer events that you can start vending at. And one of the events that I seen was the Kentucky Derby in Louisville, Kentucky. And every year they would have a street festival where they would have vendors come, and you would pay a little bit of money and you can purchase a booth. So every year I would go and I would purchase me a booth. And it wasn't a thing where you would have to actually send off money ahead of time. It was first come, first serve. So here I am, a teenager still. I would get me a vehicle and I would literally pack it up with all of my airbrush equipment. And I would go to Louisville, Kentucky, not knowing if I was gonna make a dime. And at the time, had my little brother, and me and him would drive all the way to Louisville, Kentucky from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was probably over a 10-hour drive. And we would set up, and we would actually get there a day early just to see if we can find us a good vending spot. And these vending spots were never designated. So you would literally have to knock on people's doors. You would have to find a place at a gas station and go in there and ask them if you could rent a small area in front of their establishment or in front of their home to be able to vend. So we never knew what adventure or what obstacle we would have to go through to get a vending booth. But the thrill of it kept me coming back year after year after year. Some years I would get prepared months down the line. And I would get close to May when the Kentucky Derby started. And I would be afraid. And every year I have to push myself to have the courage to show up. Because what it started happening is I would start thinking about all the problems. Man, what if the car breaks down? What if it rains? What if I don't have a generator? I would write down all the different goals and tools and the plan that I would have to put in place to be successful at the Kentucky Derby. And I will always write out also some of the issues. But I remember that as I would be writing these goals down, I would be slowly start checking them off. Okay, gotta get a new tire here. I gotta get more stock here. And I would use this as fuel. I would start building up the courage to actually believe that I could do it. And year after year, I would get better. I would sell more. I became more confident. And I became more successful. After a while, I would go to the Kentucky Derby and I would come in and it would happen like the blink of an eye. I would come in, have my booth already established, knew where to go, who to talk to every year, had my money set aside, had me an employees and a crew, had my stock organized, and it became easier for me to be able to make money. But if I would allow the fear to be more powerful than the courage, I would have never got started, guys. So have the courage to fight for your dreams. Have the courage to keep pushing on. And just like every year, for me, the Kentucky Derby was something that was consistent in my life. Find something consistent in your life to fight for your courage, or a tool to be able to bring out your courage. Find something consistent in your life that you can use as a tool to help you find the courage to fight for your courage. Because being consistent is part of the key of having the courage to create and do. Courage gives you the action. Being consistent is the tool that consistently sharpens you. Yeah, man. Courage, bro.
You always doing something, man. Do something. I don't never know what it's gonna be. I don't know the color scheme, but that's the dope thing about art. It's never wrong.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And them colors
yeah,
is always
man,
dope. You got a busting out the wall like that, man.
Out. Bam. Smack you in your face. Bam. Gotta have the courage. Bam.
You ain't wrong, man.
You
What's
know?
the last words for the people today, man? Tell me something.
Last words is courage, consistency, and unity.
CCU.
CCU. I like that. Mm-hmm. So, Craig is a person who, man, you got to be humble out here to be able to collaborate.
Right.
And that humbleness is so important. A lot of us aren't humble. You know what I'm saying? We get wrapped up into our own little vibe. So we got to lower that humbleness, man, so we can create unity. Unity amongst ourselves, unity in our families, unity in our nation, unity, in just life, period.
Right.
So having the courage to be able to look at things from a different perspective and lower that ego.
Yeah.
And have a sense of consistency, because again, you gotta always act like you got some sense, because you never know who's watching. I say.
Come on now. This has been another great episode of the Airskillz Podcast, man. I'm your co-host, Lord Rudy, and this is the host and the dopest artist in the world, Mr. Malcolm McCray.
Yeah, man. Make sure you go to the YouTube, Spotify, follow us, share it. Big up to Craig for his support and his love. Make sure you go to his website, check him out, and all of that good stuff. So another
I think
episode.
You got to do a shirt for Craig, man. It just came to me, and you can just call it brand new flavor.
Right. I love it, man. I love it.
We out of here, man. Y'all have a good one.
Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Airskillz Podcast.
Hold on.